Sven Vinkert nailed it. Greed's been fucking this industry up for so long, but developers are fighting back, rejecting acquisitions, leaving corporate jobs, making games they actually love, and they're destroying AAA gaming with a fraction of the budget. The tide is finally shifting. Small teams driven by passion are creating games with depth, soul, and respect for players. Meanwhile, corporate committees keep pumping out soulless products designed just to extract maximum cash, and the results speak for themselves. Creative freedom's winning, and it's not even close. The evidence is mental. Baldur's Gate 3, Larian rejected a Microsoft acquisition back in 2021. They wanted to make their dream game, stay independent. 15 million copies sold. It doesn't take a genius to see why. Quality, depth, treating players like beings capable of thinking. Black Myth Wukong, 50-person team at Game Science, $42 million budget, $1 billion in revenue, 96% positive Steam reviews by showcasing authentic Chinese mythology that corporate committees would have focus grouped to death. Lethal Company, a 21-year-old solo developer, over 100 million revenue from 14 million copies sold. One person out-earning entire AAA studios with teams of thousands. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Guillaume Broche left Ubisoft because he was bored. Started a 30-person team to make their dream JRPG. 3.3 million copies sold in 33 days, a masterpiece. Kingdom Come Deliverance, Warhorse Studios couldn't get publisher backing. Publishers told them, who is interested in that? No one is interested in Czech history. So they went to Kickstarter and we funded it immediately, 1.1 million versus their 300k goal. The sequel sold 2 million copies in 2 weeks, recouped its $41 million budget straight away. The proof is undeniable. When developers make games they actually want to play, players respond. Meanwhile, we've got the disaster of Concord. Sony spent $400 million, 400 million, pulled the game from sale within days after selling just 26,000 copies. The pattern's obvious. Creative freedom wins, corporate interference loses. And this isn't just a few games, there's so many examples. And the maddest bit is, indie games last year captured 48% of Steam's total revenue. For the first time ever, 5 of the top 10 highest selling Steam games last year were indie or AA games. Prime example, Palworld, 40-person team, 25 million players. Sea of Stars, Sabotage Studio crowdfunded their dream turn-based RPG, over 6 million players. It won Best Independent Game at the Game Awards. They made exactly what they wanted to without publisher interference telling them that turn-based was dead. The Alters just dropped on Game Pass, a 50-person team at 11-bit studios, the best game on the platform this year easily. Creative risk nobody else would take, building a survival game around psychology instead of combat. The quality gap has gone too. There is no quality gap between AAA and indie or AA studios. Look at the average review scores. Indies score on average 72% positive reviews. AAA games get a 74% average review score. It's basically identical quality for a fraction of the budget. Indies are delivering the same experience for pennies on the dollar. And the floodgates have opened. Small teams with passion are systematically destroying $100 million corporate products made by teams of thousands. Why? Well, corporate gaming's about one thing, revenue. They couldn't give two shits if we actually enjoy the game or not, only if it sells, only if they can make a profit. They stifle the creativity, release shoddy products packed with microtransactions, soulless and completely non-innovative, and often reversing innovation. They pump that budget into marketing designed to fool us into thinking we're getting something that doesn't actually exist. Rinse and repeat. Skull and Bones, prime example, an absolute failure. $850 million over 10 years because executives kept changing the direction, a different vision every few months. What should have been a $30 million game became the industry's biggest disaster. Redfall, Microsoft forced live service on Arcane Austin, a studio known for immersive single-player experiences. $150 million budget, 70,000 copies sold in 10 days. And the studio's now closed. And Sven Vinkert nails it. He said that the ones making decisions don't play games, they don't understand the ethos, they don't care about it. But the fact is, we kept buying these games, and of course we did. We loved these franchises. We kept hoping for change, hoping the studios that once were great would somehow find that creative spark again. hoping the next Assassin's Creed might be better than the last, but it never is. Broken launches, missing features, aggressive monetization. Sadly, it's just become the norm. Look, I'm aware I sound like a broken record. I feel like one, but the evidence is undeniable now. When developers control their vision, they win. When suits interfere, they lose. But don't just take my word for it, the creators themselves have been saying it. Sven Vinker, the legend at Larian, he said, "I've been fighting publishers my entire life, and I keep on seeing the same mistakes over and over and over." Eric Barone, Stardew Valley, 41 million copies sold, a huge success. He took the philosophy to the extreme, a solo developer making his own dream game, and he said, "For me, it's a dream game. It's the game that I always wanted to play." Jonathan Blow, Braid and the Witness, he said that large-scale game development with big budgets has a way of polishing over authentic joy. Indies can't do that. We can do a smaller amount of stuff, so our job is just to do it better. It's the same story everywhere. Guillaume Broche, he left Ubisoft because he was bored in his job and wanted to do something different. He started Sandfall Interactive, he made Clair Obscur, gets presidential recognition from Macron as an example of French audacity, and likely made the Game of the Year 2025. Daniel Vavra from Warhorse, rejected multiple times by publishers, said that he felt doomed to always make cars because people say you are good at making cars. And when publishers wouldn't back Kingdom Come, his team said that you need to have the balls to piss against the wind, and piss they did. They're not making games for shareholders, they're making games for themselves, and it turns out that's what players want too. This isn't about budget size anymore, it's about creative control. AAA games, indie ethos with AAA scope are the new winning standard. Clair Obscur took massive risks, a turn-based JRPG when the market's obsessed with action games. Deep storyline about grief and loss. Corporate committees would have killed that instantly. Kingdom Come chose historical accuracy over fantasy elements. No magic, no dragons, just authentic medieval Bohemia. Publishers called it too risky. Disco Elysium removed combat entirely from an RPG while tackling complex political themes. Outer Wilds built gameplay around a time loop with no traditional progression. These studios understand something AAA forgot. Players want real experiences, not to be handheld and treated like we can't think for ourselves. Not shiny new outfits tied to predatory loot boxes. Money doesn't mean anything when you're actively burning that cash on outdated, shallow investments that nobody, literally nobody, wants to play. Players are voting with their wallets, not for corporate products but for passionate developers who respect our intelligence. This isn't just a market trend, it feels like a true cultural shift, a revolution slowly starting to happen. Small teams with vision versus corporate committees optimizing for quarterly profits. The data's clear which side is winning. 48% of Steam's revenue came from indies in 2024, capturing half the market for the first time in gaming history. That's not the ceiling, that's just the beginning. Indies treat us like humans who want good games and are capable of thinking, and it turns out that that works so much better than quarterly profit optimization. We're finally getting the games that we deserve, made by developers who actually give a shit. The suits have finally lost, the revolution's here, and no, I'm not trying to be the Gandhi of gaming, I'm just happy that it's finally happening. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please do make sure to like, comment and subscribe. It genuinely does me the biggest of favors. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next one.